Hey parents, so I want you to know that ADHD is a highly hereditary disorder. So it's a neurodevelopmental disorder, but it's a neurogenetic disorder. So if you think about it, it's in our genes, it's in our DNA. A lot of times, not only does one parent have ADHD, but many times both parents do. So it's kind of a double whammy. It's coming from both directions. The interesting thing is lately I'm finding that many adults are getting diagnosed with ADHD, and they're doing it because as they're going through the evaluation process for their kids, they're realizing that they too kind of fit some of those boxes. And as they're getting their kids tested, they're going back and getting themselves tested. So it's a really cool, introspection sort of area. Now you can look and say, oh, wait, I did that as a kid and I do that as an adult. And maybe I too have these things. So it's a good opportunity to look at yourself and see, hey, what am I struggling with? Not just my kids, but what's happening here too. And then maybe you can reach out and get some services for yourself. It's a good start. One of my favorite stories, this was a long time ago. I was seeing a little guy at a little preschool, and his teachers were very concerned about his behavior because he couldn't sit in circle time. He couldn't complete activities. He just kept wandering the room. Anyway, he was adorable. But his mom was having a really hard time wrapping her head around that situation. So she requested a meeting with the occupational therapist and myself, the speech therapist. So as we're sitting here, we've got mom and dad in a room. We're sitting in little tiny kid chairs in a little kid library. Mom is asking us questions, and the OT and I are trying to talk to her and trying to explain the process and what's happening and what we think is happening with him, but she's just not getting it. As we're talking to mom, and mom is like on point, making eye contact, asking all the right questions, dad has been pacing the room. He comes, he sits down, he gets back up, he walks around. At one point in time, I caught him like holding up one of the kids' books and shaking it from side to side so you can, see the pages, kind of like move around. He's been everywhere, absolutely everywhere. So as the meeting is wrapping up, mom is still asking a million questions. She does not see it. In her eyes, her son is perfect and he doesn't have any issues at home and we're the crazy people. Dad sits down and starts pretty much going through everything that we just touched on. He was on point. He knew every single thing. He had paid attention to everything that we had been saying the entire time, had processed it, and was able to completely grasp the entire concept. So he is our typical hyperactive impulsive ADHD who does much better when they're in motion. He was walking, he was pacing, he was concentrating, and he was actually taking in all of the information. Mom obviously lives with this at home, and that has become her norm. So of course she doesn't see her child's behavior as anything different because that's exactly what dad is doing at home. So this is why she's looking at us like we're crazy, because this is a normal behavior to her. That's just how they function at her house. So needless to say, we were able to get him a little bit of services, but in that same line, now we know the apple doesn't fall. The apple doesn't fall far from the tree.